is Eric. This is the Road to Freedom. Thanks for joining me. All right, it's LA, hermanos y hermanas. Today we're going to talk about some emotions. Emociones, right? So, here is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the idea of when we say positive emotion and negative emotion. We're going to get a little philosophy going, okay? We're going to have a paradigm shift. That's the goal. Paradigm shift is this: that there's no such thing as a positive emotion and a negative emotion. I'll explain. All right, so the first thing we have to wrap our head around is that we experience emotions, right? It's a thing. We're humans, and it is immature, if you will, to one to try to say I'm not going to experience that emotion because you fucking are, right? You're going to. And it's a little bit more mature, but it's also immature to try to um, stultify or try to like jam away that emotion, right? Not express it. And that's how you can get into a lot of trouble, right? We want to be emotionally flexible. That's a good thing, okay? So two things real quick. One, we're gonna have emotions, and two, we can't just hide them, right? We can't bottle them up. So what are you gonna do? Right? You're going to have these emotions, they're going to be happening. What do you do? Well, first thing I did was I recognized that the idea of a positive emotion and a negative emotion doesn't exist. Here's an example. Mother Teresa is a great example. I'm not Catholic. Chances are you're not Catholic, but we know about this person. We know about when she died, right? We have a general idea. She died in the 2010s or so, right? Um, did some schooling stuff? I don't know. But what we do know is that Mother Teresa, after she died, a lot of folks talked about her righteous anger. That's what they called it, righteous anger, right? She was upset about a situation. She went to work, and whether you're religious or not, some say that she did God's work, right? Another one, there's another quote that's really good. It's like, no, I forget who says it, but it's something like, no compliant. I'm gonna fuck it up, but something like this. It's like, no compliant woman will ever make history, right? Like you got to be rambunctious, and you got to be daring, and you got to like take the stuff and not just be compliant. You got to like go, right? Um, it was something along the lines of being like rebellious, right? Which maybe like that rebellious streak, maybe a negative emotion, right? So also equally so, positive emotions positive emotions may not be good. All right. Here's a great example. Look at the Colts, right? Those Colts in the '60s, when everyone was getting like super happy with that Mason guy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Drink the Kool-Aid, right? They were super excited, right? They must have done that because they felt elated about this individual and what they were telling them, and then they let them their brain get override rational thoughts, and they fucking drank the Kool-Aid. They're dead, right? Jonestown happened. So, all right, let's recap again. I know this a lot. One, we have emotions. Two, we can't bottle them. And three, there's no such thing as a positive or a negative emotion. So let's change it, right? So emotions are emotions. With that said, we do have a value hierarchy, right? We want to move towards more good things for us, right? More beneficial things. So that's probably the word we'll use. Beneficial emotions, maladaptive emotions. Okay, so if we create that schema, if you will, the idea, how do we determine which one is beneficial or benevolent, and which one's maladaptive? Well, we might say it's based upon what we do with that in accordance with our goals, right? What do I mean? So, like, if I have an emotion, right, and it makes like I allow it to make me do something that doesn't get me closer to something that either makes me better or make the people I love better, right? It doesn't serve us, then that's maladaptive. If it's something that I feel and I do an action with it and it gets me better or it makes the people I love better, then that's benevolent. Okay? So let's get rid of the whole idea of positive emotion, negative emotion. Okay? Because then we have a schema in our head. It's like, oh, that's apathy, greed, fear, and anger, right? or shame and guilt. Those are all things we would call negative, and all the things we call positive, like joy, serenity, peace of mind, right? Boredom. Somebody would say that's like a gray one. So here's the exercise today. We're going to do this in 3 layers, okay? We're going to take a negative emotion, and then we're going to think about, from further degrees from us, we're going to picture in our mind what someone could do with a negative emotion, okay? So let's say a stranger. Let's say you see a stranger, and could you picture a time, or could you tell me about a time when a stranger was angry and they did good with it? Can you picture another time? Or a time when someone's afraid and they did something good with it? A stranger, total fucking stranger. Just don't even know this person. And if you can't picture something like, let's say, grief, right? So you couldn't picture a time where a stranger felt grief and then, they did something good. Maybe try to think of a time. Maybe just think up something. Is it possible? Is it feasible to experience grief or guilt or shame and do something good with it? And the answer is yes. If you want to go back to the religious, piety, right? You feel shame, you feel guilt, right? As you start transmuting your awareness, you start feeling shame and guilt for the things that you've done, and then you start repenting, if you will. You start working towards that transmutation of your spirit, and you start doing good. So that's a great thing. All right, so that's the stranger. Now your family or someone you know. Has there ever been a time where there was a negative emotion that they felt and they did something good with it? What's another time? And another time. What's another time that you've seen where someone was feeling a negative emotion and they did something good with it? All right, last one. This is with us. Is there a time in your life, ever, where you felt some negative emotion and then you did something good with it? Right? Maybe, like one time, I'll give you an example. One time in my early 20s, I abused someone's trust. I actually slept with someone else. Only time I ever cheated with someone. And it fucking rocked me. It rocked me, right? And so I went home, slept for 3 days, and for the next 3 years, I was trying to work on myself. And by doing that, I was actually able to help other folks, because I'm trying to heal myself. I start healing other people. And so it was 3 years of me getting to know myself and also being able to help those around me. It was awesome. So that maybe you have something that's like that, right? Okay, my battery's about to die, but do that with positive emotions. That's your exercise. Think about a time where you've seen a stranger, okay, who had a good emotion. They were showing some kind of signs of good emotion, but they did something bad with it. Think about that 3 times. So you want to have 3 examples, and if you can't think of one, create one in your mind. Then the next level closest to you, someone you know, right, a family member, a friend. Think about a time when they had a positive emotion, but they did something bad with it. If you know any kids, come on. You can think of times when they're all happy and they fuck something up, right? They break stuff. So that's an easy one. And then for you, have you ever felt a positive emotion but then messed it up, right? So the whole purpose, once again, the reason why we're doing this is because we want to move away from the idea of this immature mindset that 1, you can't have emotions, or 2, you got to stuff them, or 3, there's certain ones you can't feel, right? Or that there's this idea that if you feel a certain way, then it's not good, right? It's total bullshit. It's total bullshit. We can use all this. We just got to put a little bit of mind into it. And once we get some schemas going, some ideas, right? Some models, then we can really start unlocking some stuff. So take that with you. Think about it. And I'll see you soon.